Okay, this is the 2013 market snapshot for OEM commercial framing. It is a segment that is designed to take a picture of where commercial framing is in 2013. It happens to be the category that I know the least about, and so I decided to study quite a bit of it, and even took video of some things and included it into this document, which is why you are receiving it in this form. This is part one of two documents, and hopefully you'll be able to watch both of them and provide us some feedback on whether or not you think this adds value to you or your customers who are interested in pursuing commercial framing. So let's get started here. When we had our management meeting in Southern California, we agreed that there were a number of verticals that are being serviced by the OEM commercial framer: hospitality, government, restaurant, healthcare. And after some surveying, it turns out that these OEMs typically stay within their category. They do jump lines, so forth, but they gain a reputation for being able to be a hospitality OEM framer or a government OEM framer, restaurant, etc. Occasionally they'll move over and jump lines, but for the most part they focus on one particular vertical. There was some temptation to drill into this a little bit, each one of them individually. But for the sake of shortening our presentation, we decided to concentrate on healthcare. So let's meet one of these people. Meet Judy.
We do everything from art publication, fulfillment, to production training. Well, actually, we started out retail. And then being retail, we had several designers that would come in. We worked with them. And that's when designers and myself were both young in the business, and then as their careers developed, we followed with them, and the particular designers that we had a really good relationship with expanded into healthcare.
So you could see she followed her designers and focused on the commercial side of things. Let's talk about the business profile. And for those of you who were at the meeting, we used this following grid to evaluate each of these customer categories. We wanted to know what kinds of new products they were offering, how they're getting new customers, and talk with them about their production strategies and challenges, and basically ask them, how can we sell you? The goal here was to get a clear picture of the customer base so that we can be informed when we're calling on customers and be more of a consultative salesperson. So let's talk to Judy about her new products.
Evidence-based design is that area of healthcare where there's actually been research done that shows that certain imagery in certain areas of healthcare, so cancer unit, actually improves the health of the patient. Recovery time is reduced, pain levels are reduced, and even pain pills are reduced. Their rate of return on their investment on artwork would come back with less than a year based on those research numbers.
So just to clarify, while not available at the sales meeting, I drilled even further to identify some case studies that support this theory. It's rather bold theory that artwork can reduce pain medication, but you can jot down this web address, distinctiveartsource.com, and you'll see case studies that support this theory that she uses.
Alzheimer's units is a very researched area, and it's difficult to research an area where your residents are unable to articulate to you what works best and what doesn't, and so you have to monitor the reaction to things. And so we have found that certain colors, like a deep orange, is the best color to use with them because of Alzheimer's affects the eyesight and color absorption, and that seems to be the best color for them to see. And you have to monitor the contrast. There has to be a lot of contrast between light and dark. And also tactile art. They want the touchy-feely type of thing as they develop in Alzheimer's, and they get focused on one thing, as something they can do. They can feel it and work with it. Yes, absolutely.
So, Alzheimer's art, generally I've seen a lot of quilts being framed. I've seen a lot of three-dimensional things being framed. So these Alzheimer units are filled with a lot of bright imagery with quilts and so forth.
But in Indiana, it's a very generational county. The people live there, just, great-grandfather, and their hospital was built in the 1930s and added on the 40s and added on the 50s. And they decided to build a brand new hospital, which they were receiving a lot of resistance from the residents of the county, just because it was new and they were very comfortable with the old one. So in order to make that transition much easier for the residents, I photographed from a list that the administrator gave me historical areas of the county.
So what she's talking about here is essentially taking photographs of parts of the city or notable parks or things in the region and framing them and putting them inside of the hospital. And so when the patrons come in, they get a sense of being at home. And there is one final thing I would add to this slide, and that is each of these different products here that she offers seems to be somewhat impervious to competition from, say, big box stores or even China. These products here represent, I think, a viable commercial selling opportunity that has some longevity to it. So it adds to the value of this prospect, in my view. Let's see how she gets customers.
Well, I look at their website, and they'll usually have portfolio or jobs coming up. I read the bios on the designers. I look at the style of artwork that they're using, whether it's healthcare, hospitality, or corporate, and to see their particular design style. The best scenario of making a phone call is getting a meeting with them. So then I can go in and do a full presentation on projects we've worked on, some portfolio photographs of actual projects, and just trying to explain to them how I think I can help and support their program and what they're wanting to do. Just they don't have time to see you. Which is what makes the lunch and learns very popular, because they're incorporating two things at one time. They will go out to lunch, but so you're viewing a presentation at the same time. I walk out the door with a job. The worst scenario is, thank you, but we really can't use your services. Generally, we just don't have anything at this time, which means they probably do, they're just not ready for you yet, because they're going from either initiating the blueprints, or they're working from blueprints, initiating space planning, furniture layouts, lighting, and all that, where artwork is the last thing that goes on.
So you can see here she's not knocking on a lot of doors. She's doing a lot of pre-call planning, networking, and so forth, and then eventually scheduling an appointment, and then from there developing theoretically a long-term relationship with a customer. So this concludes the part 1 of 2 on OEM commercial framing. The next segment will actually speak to one of our customers, so hopefully you can join us.